Our hearts are with all of those who have been affected by the pandemic. In just a few months' time, COVID-19 has brought about years of change in the way that we all live, work, and do business, and has left lasting effects on our local industries and workforce. But one thing remains constant. When Central Texans need help, the Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area team is always here to answer the call. We empower Texans of all abilities to find sustainable career outcomes by coaching them to employment to meet the workforce needs of local industries. Amid the pandemic, our 9-county area of Central Texas continues to be one of the fastest growing regions in the country. These employers need skilled and qualified workers. With rapid local development and expansion comes the need to attract, recruit, and retain a highly skilled workforce. We put people to work. We do this by bringing together community leaders, industry experts, and training providers to develop workforce solutions for Texans. We facilitate workforce and childcare services by finding new and innovative ways to keep each of our counties working, growing, and competing at a global level. As our region made significant interventions to curb the spread of the coronavirus, our teams mobilized to protect the health and safety of customers and staff to ensure that our business services, early childhood development programs, and career services continued virtually. We introduced a unified toll-free number for all services, an online appointment system on our website to book curbside or in-center visits. We launched the Jobs Now portal to supplement job matches on workintexas.com to help employers fill immediate openings and help job seekers review positions in high demand. We were also the first in the state to offer online job fairs weekly with our Workforce Wednesdays virtual hiring events to connect talented Central Texans with great Texas employers. The pandemic has pushed companies over the digital tipping point and transformed the future of work. To help Central Texas business and job seekers stay competitive, our no-cost, live daily career enhancement workshops were moved online to be accessed from any interactive mobile device. Through our partnerships, we are also offering more than 20,000 free online courses in high-demand occupations through Metrics Learning, LinkedIn Learning, and Academy. We are also able to deliver solutions to job seekers and employers by assisting parents with childcare tuition assistance to enroll their children with high-quality providers. Childcare is one of the biggest expenses families face, and our team has been working closely with local providers daily to enhance the quality of care and education. Our vision is to ensure that local employers will have a highly skilled and educated workforce, and our residents will have the competencies, skills, and education to become self-sufficient and live a quality life. We are delivering on that goal by continuing to reduce the structural barriers that can prevent Texans from finding sustainable employment. We are also enhancing the region's employer-led and demand-driven workforce system and identifying pathways to help job seekers tap into occupations in high demand that provide family-supporting wages and opportunities for advancement. We are Rural Capital Area, and we're proud to provide workforce solutions for Central Texans. With your help, we'll continue to get through this challenging time for our community together.
Hello, my name is Paul Fletcher. I'm the CEO for Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area. I want to thank everyone for joining us for this important kickoff event for our Workforce Strategic Plan. Your participation in this plan and as it rolls out is very important and will be critical for its success. This is an opportunity for us to share some of the background details about why we thought a plan was important, how we implemented the plan, and how the plan should roll out here over the next several months. And we really view this as a roadmap for how workforce development activities will occur throughout our 9-county area over the next 3 years. We invested significant resources in the development of this plan, looking at a lot of data to help us make the determinations about what was needed, where it was needed, and did a lot of work to bring community resources together to have discussions about what are the workforce needs in each of our areas. So not only have we developed an overlying regional 9-county workforce plan, we have also created a specific county plan for each of the 9 counties that are in our workforce area. So we have built a plan for each area. That plan was built with input from the community, hopefully from a lot of people that are on this call today, to help us determine, what the workforce needs are, what the workforce resources are, where the workforce gaps exist, and how we can go about mediating those gaps, and making sure we have the right talent ready to go to work in our businesses in our 9-county area. So let me set the stage for what we're going to try to do today. We're going to hear from a lot of our stakeholders that were instrumental in helping put this plan together, talking about why they think a workforce plan is important and what they hope to see achieved from that workforce plan. And then we will lead directly into a discussion about workforce development, why workforce is important, and what workforce means to each of our stakeholders and for each of our communities. Once we hear from our stakeholders, we will then evolve into a panel discussion, which will include our workforce board leadership, myself and a couple of our key workforce board staff that were instrumental in helping put this workforce plan together. And we'll try to answer some questions and explain in a little more detail about what we were wanting to accomplish with our workforce plan, how we're going to be holding ourselves accountable, and what we think will culminate at what our hopes are for the plan in 3 years, and how we see that evolving for the future.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Frank Leonardis. I am the current chair of the Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area Board of Directors. On behalf of the board, we'd like to thank you for joining us today in support of the kickoff of our strategic plan for the 9-county rural capital area. This plan represents a collaborative effort across the region to guide and enhance our workforce development efforts for the next 3 years. With all of your help, we'll continue our efforts to empower Texans of all abilities to find sustainable career outcomes by coaching them to employment to meet the workforce needs of our local industries. As an employer, I know the importance of this strategic plan and know how it will support all of the businesses in our region. Again, thank you for taking your time to join us today, and I hope you enjoy the event.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to make this little presentation, and it's really not a little presentation. What you're doing with your strategic plan at Workforce Solutions, I've had the opportunity to browse through that, and I just want to say right off the bat that you guys and ladies and men and everybody, staff associated with Workforce Solutions, are an incredible asset to us here in Fayette County, and I'm sure to the other 8 counties you serve in your region. You do a wonderful job in normal times, and I want to tell you, this last year we all know has not been normal, and the last month hasn't been very normal either. But you've continued to do what you do and do it well, and now you're launching this strategic plan, which I think has all the ingredients to make Workforce Solutions even a more valuable asset to county leaders and city leaders and people in these counties. The no-cost recruiting piece, the childcare piece. All of the recruiting, the job applications, getting word out, all these things, the training, all these things that are only going to increase as the population grows. And I think it speaks incredibly of what your organization is doing with this plan, where you're looking into the future and trying to be ready and prepared to do as great a work as you're doing right now for us into the future. And that's so important. We got to look beyond the end of our noses, and you are a great example of doing that. So I tell you, I stand ready here to support. Fayette County stands ready to support any way we can as you enter into this era with your new strategic plan. And I just want to take the opportunity while I'm here to thank you for all you've done for Fayette County and all you've done for all the counties in the region. And we stand ready to assist you, be at your side in any way we can. And with that said, again, thank you very much, and everybody have a great day.
Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area is one of 28 workforce development boards in the state of Texas, charged with the planning and oversight of workforce programs and services. We're a nonprofit convener of workforce services utilizing federal and state funds that are designated for workforce development, employment, training, and childcare. The Rural Capital Area region includes Bastrop, Blanco, Burnett, Caldwell, Fayette, Hayes, Lee, Llano, and Williamson counties. Each of these counties has a distinct economy and workforce that reflects their unique histories and environmental features, as well as natural resources and amenities. Delivering sustainable workforce solutions to such a diverse and large service area requires much more than a one-size-fits-all approach. It requires careful planning and a great deal of coordination to leverage the many resources and opportunities that each county has. It's with this in mind that Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area embarked on developing strategic plans tailored for each county and a common regional strategic framework and plan. Our aim is to enhance collaboration around workforce development and amplify the impact of workforce initiatives and programs across the region. The overall strategy will guide our work over the next 3 years and includes a specific plan customized for each county and an overarching regional plan that draws from common elements in the county plans. The project team conducted a survey of stakeholders and held workshops in each county to identify workforce issues and challenges. This feedback helped us develop the goals and strategies that led to the creation of the strategic plan for the region. While the pandemic highlighted health and economic disparities, it also reiterated the importance of access to good education, workforce development, and economic opportunities. It's in this context that Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area completed its strategic plans, with the understanding that now more than ever it must be a leader in the region. The plan provides resources to support workforce-related goals and to address long-standing structural barriers facing job seekers and employers in the 9 counties.
My name is Tamara Atkinson, and I have the honor of serving as the CEO of Workforce Solutions Capital Area. So Workforce Solutions Capital Area is so proud to partner with Workforce Solutions Rural Capital. It only makes sense that we would work together. As a 10-county region, we clearly share a labor shed, we share an employer group, and our community, our leaders don't necessarily see boundaries between the counties and the work. And this is why it is so crucial that our 2 boards work together as well as we do. The Workforce Solutions Rural Capital has an amazing leader in Paul Fletcher. As the CEO, he has really helped lead this organization into what will become a landmark strategic plan for our region, really showcasing how the 9 counties served by that board can come together and coordinate around common goals and features. So I'd like to speak for just a moment about the opportunity I see and what excites me about the work that the Rural Capital Board is undertaking and how it supports the capital area. So here in Austin, we executed and initiated a plan starting in 2017. We called it the Community Workforce Plan, and it was really meant to be a North Star guiding strategic plan that would help our local leaders, our local board of directors, and our broader education ecosystem community really focus on what industries and jobs were driving our economy. And I have to say, while we didn't expect in 2017 when we launched the plan that COVID would hit, we didn't even know the word COVID at the time. I'm really proud that that work laid the foundation for what is now our recovery map for how we can help our region economically prosper out of COVID and help get people back to work. The leadership that Paul Fletcher, the board of directors in the rural capital area, and all of the great staff and team have undertaken is about really guiding your counties, those 9 counties, to be also partners with the capital area here in Travis County. So clearly working together as well as we can, optimizing our opportunities together. As I look at the Rural Capital Strategic Plan, and as a proud member of the steering committee, there are 3 things in particular that stand out to me as really making this planning work extraordinary. One is the focus on being employer-driven. I could not agree more with the direction and the need for this plan to have this kind of direction. I mean, look, at the end of the day, what we all are trying to do is see that our neighbors have an opportunity to compete for the jobs that employers are creating here in Central Texas and our great state of Texas. And you cannot do that if you don't focus on the employers and what they need. 2, self-sufficient employment. Recognizing that the strategic plan adopted by the Rural Capital Workforce Board is about helping people, helping families be better off and able to support themselves and their families without public assistance. There is a role and a place for public assistance from time to time for Texans, but we hope that it is a short-term assistance. And so our goal in workforce development is to see that people have the skills so that they can be self-sufficient and support themselves and their families. And finally, backbone. I am so impressed that the Rural Capital Workforce Board has really seen its role as leading this effort, leading the through influence as well as authority to become the backbone of this regional effort, this regional strategic plan. I could not be prouder to be able to partner with Paul Fletcher, his entire team, the board of directors, and all the leaders in rural capital to really recognize together how, as a 10-county region, it is imperative that we work together and lead together to help regain our economic prosperity coming out of the pandemic crisis. Thank you so much for your partnership, Rural Capital. I am delighted to represent our board in saying that we are happy and delighted and so grateful to be your partner.
Hi, I'm Diane Tackett. I'm the Chief Operations Officer at Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area. I'm excited today to share our strategic plan with you and provide more information about our regional strategies. Our regional strategies are important because they provide a common framework for the WSRCA's direction, and they will support the individual county plans. In creating this common framework, we really wanted to design it in a way that promotes the mission of preserving the integrated employer-driven workforce system through active involvement of employers in our workforce development decisions, such as identifying labor trends and needs, defining skills and training standards, and providing feedback on how to support workers in gaining the skills needed for successful employment. We also designed the regional plan framework to support the vision of having a highly skilled and educated workforce across online counties, and with the support of our Workforce Solutions Capital Area partner in Austin-Travis County, through the leadership of Tamara Atkinson, have a highly skilled and educated workforce across the whole MSA. Our regional framework allows for better communication and coordination across partners, provides opportunities to leverage and use our capacity in a more cost-effective way, and promotes information exchange and continuous learning among all partners. Additionally, a regional approach allows us to identify and utilize regional expertise on areas or topics that might not be well known across the groups, and it encourages information sharing. A regional approach means greater access to information, resources, and expertise. Finally, a regional approach leads to a greater data sharing and the ability to create collective impact for change. This framework has resulted in 3 regional goals we would like to accomplish: to collaborate on solutions for structural barriers, to enhance the region's employer-led and demand-driven workforce system, and to create pathways to self-sufficient employment and career advancement. Thank you for joining us today and learning more about our regional strategies and goals.
The Rural Capital Area Regional Strategy all starts with a shared mission and vision. Key to our mission is strengthening our employer-driven workforce system. Employers play an active role by providing input on the skills and competencies they need and give feedback on the quality of workforce training programs and services. Another key element to the mission is the goal of self-sufficient employment. This means that workers can support themselves and their families without public assistance. Together, an employer-driven workforce system and the goal of self-sufficient employment informs the direction of the strategic plan. The plan addresses the structural issues that stand as significant barriers for both employers and job seekers. In the context of this mission and vision, 3 goals were designed to serve as the backbone of the rural capital area regional and county strategies. Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area has identified major structural barriers for the workforce: housing, childcare, transportation, and broadband internet. These large-scale challenges cannot be addressed by just one entity, but rather require a collaborative effort. The approach to address the first regional goal will include the formation and launch of the Community Matters Coalition. This coalition will empower community leaders across the region to tackle large workforce-related challenges, supporting the rollout of the strategic plan in each of the counties. Engaging employers in the Community Matters Coalition to encourage the planning and implementation of solutions. Launching and leading the Child Care Community Matters Coalition. This coalition will improve and enhance early child care and education throughout the counties.
Hello, my name is Donna Klager, and I'm the Executive Director of the Community Resource Centers of Texas. I have worked with or partnered with Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area for probably 15, 16 years through our community resource centers in Burnett, Blanco, Llano, and Liberty Hill. We have common denominators and our interest in addressing rural community needs and educational opportunities. And I'm pretty sure that Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area was probably our first community partner when we opened in the mid-20s. And they continue today to provide services, programs, and employment opportunities across all 4 of our rural communities. Our CRC mission is very simple. Our resource centers connect people in need with community resources. But how do we do that? Our model is to provide a one-stop shop for community services in Burnett, Blanco, Llano, and Williamson counties. So we provide a building, a community building, and we provide the furniture. So all they need to do is bring their expertise and set up appointments to meet with their local clients. We invite and house regional, local, and state nonprofit and support agencies at no cost. And we give them a free office. We are dedicated to working with our local officials, our community leaders, and our friends in each community to actually identify what needs do they really have so that we together can seek out and meet and invite the most needed services to that certain community. Since the creation of the Community Resource Center model, Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area has provided free computers and training first in Marble Falls and now at all 3 locations. They remain a very strong partner in the employment and addressing employment needs and training needs in our communities. Literally thousands of people are looking for employment in our communities, and they have been assisted and employed in our communities because of Rural Capital Area's efforts and dedication. Workforce Solutions has continued to provide partnership opportunities also over the years to enhance workforce training. The opportunities in our rural community right now are serving, we've been selected to serve as a work site for the National Dislocated Workers Grant Program at all 4 locations. This gives people opportunities who have lost their job because of COVID or other and are receiving unemployment, the opportunity to work on site with nonprofit organizations and be trained in a new area so that they can continue their skills and access jobs in our rural communities. But the lack of rural healthcare workforce in rural communities is at an all-time critical stage. We are so proud that WSRCA was awarded a $2.5 Rural Health Initiative grant to address rural health care. The work shortages in our communities and in our development area, and for them to be the only organization in the state of Texas to receive this award is just an incredible asset to our communities. Our friend and CEO of WSRCA, Paul Fletcher, has noted that amid the pandemic, our communities to provide comfort and care at the greatest time of our need is boosting the number of training in our rural communities in healthcare occupations. It will enhance the quality of patient care and will have direct impact on fueling the economic recovery in our rural regions. Our CRC organization supports and is very excited to be here today at the Strategic Plan Kickoff. And by planning as a region is so in rural communities, our stakeholders will be able to get together with other communities to review current data and what the trends are in employment. We will be able to discuss barriers for success by job seekers. What troubles are they having? We'll be able to acknowledge and celebrate successful collaborations in our region, which I can tell you are many. And we look forward to working together to identify challenges and creating solutions, matching values and visions, and recognizing each community is very different with different needs. Strategic conversations will build partnerships and pipelines to address transportation, affordable housing, childcare, and broadband in our entire region. And we are a firm believer that together we can and will achieve more. I have personally witnessed WSRCA's growth, their foresight, and their dedication to address workforce challenges in our region. And I look forward to continuing our partnership because together we do make a difference. Thank you for having me today.
Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area has invested in tools and approaches to create a system that's driven by employer demand, which will continue to be strengthened through industry input and engagement. One of the areas in which we contribute is the publication and distribution of labor market information. Rural Capital Area economic and workforce data provides a snapshot of the local economy and career opportunities. This gives education and training providers the information they need to target training for high-demand occupations and enhance their local workforce.
Hello, my name is Jason Giulietti with the Greater San Marcos Partnership, and it's my pleasure today just to share the excitement on the new strategic plan and vision with Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area here. We are doing some amazing work in collaboration together, not only with Workforce Solutions, but the entire communities. And those communities that we represent are the Hays County and Caldwell County communities, those of San Marcos, from Dripping Springs to Luling and Lockhart out in Caldwell County. We're very excited about what this plan brings because it's going to marry together so many critical ingredients that in our world of economic development, which is bringing new companies, new investments alongside our existing businesses, growing and expanding their footprint in our 2-county region, to the forefront and making sure we're addressing the areas of broadband, connectivity. The new age of post-COVID has shown us the importance to be connected to everyone at the right speed and making sure that our residents at every level and businesses at every level have that connectivity. Not only connectivity, but we're going to be getting back in our cars again. And as we do that, thinking of the transportation needs that we have within our communities, knowing that we can get our people and our products from point A to point B as effectively and as efficiently as we can, given the density and growth that is happening in Central Texas, certainly in the 2-county footprint here nestled between San Antonio and Austin. We want to make sure that we are addressing those needs. We're also addressing the other issues and barriers that may come up to ensure our workforce needs are met. Thinking of things like childcare, most simply a basic service that is needed to ensure that workers can get to those jobs that are coming to our communities or those companies that are growing and enhancing their footprint here in Central Texas. So we're very excited about what this plan brings for our work in economic development. Again, this brings together a myriad of audiences, ensuring that the public sector and the private sector come together, build strong relationships to ensure that the workforce needs, both current and future, are met by the efforts of what brings together everyone to ensure we're on the same page, collectively together, making sure that Central Texas remains a strong location for companies, a strong location for residents to enhance their economic opportunity and ultimately be more successful. So thank you, Workforce Solutions. Look forward to working with you and all to accomplish this great plan.
An employer-led system relies on business engagement, and expanding outreach to employers across the region will allow it to grow.
My name is Fletcher. I'm the Executive Director of the Marble Falls Economic Development Corporation. We have certainly enjoyed our partnership with Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area over the years. We've been the beneficiaries of the Self-Sufficiency grant, also several rounds of the High Demand Job Training grant. We're really looking forward to the Rural Healthcare Initiatives program that's about to kick off. And for us, it's really been an integral part of our economic development efforts to have workforce be such a primary component. And we've certainly been fortunate to have partners who have joined us along the way and actually increased in number over the years. Workforce Network Inc. is a great partner of ours. The last couple of high demand job training grants, we've been able to get the Burnett EDC and the Llano EDC to partner also. And I think what that's resulted in is, a lot of people across the region. I think 133 people have been trained through these programs offered by WSRCA. And they represent about 16 different communities in the Highland Lakes region. So it's really been a beneficial effort, not just for us, but for all the communities in the Highland Lakes. And we look forward to continued partnerships with Workforce Solutions, as well as our nonprofit partners.
The approach to address the second regional goal will include continuing to publish and distribute robust and informative labor market data about the 9-county region, targeting programs to support high-demand industries, occupations, and careers, expanding the participation of employers in the workforce system through meaningful input and engagement.
I'm Jason Mock. I'm the President and CEO of the San Marcos Area Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for having me today to speak a little bit about the partnership that Workforce Solutions Rural Capital and the San Marcos Area Chamber, as well as our other partners inside Hays County, work together to make available job seekers capable of finding their next opportunity. We know that last year in 2020 was a tough year for all of us, and especially for those in the workforce. When COVID-19 hit our communities, we saw a huge amount of communities laying people off or furloughing them altogether. And so those individuals really struggled to find what that next opportunity was. But with the help of Rural Capital, Workforce Solution, and their team, our citizens were able to get back up on their feet in a quick amount of time. And over this time frame, Rural Capital and their partners, including the Chambers of Commerce, have worked together to put together a strategic plan that is going to guide the organization, not only from Hays County, but the other 9 county footprints that Workforce Solutions Rural Capital represents. And it's really going to focus on a lot of different things. And for Hays County, some of the things that we struggle with and some of the things that we are working on as an organization are some of the things that are crucial to an employer as well as an employee finding that next opportunity. And so we look forward to working with Workforce Solutions Rural Capital on this adventure. And some of those things deal with transportation, broadband, K through 12 work in the sense of developing those partnerships, childhood or early childhood daycare, and much more. And so one of the things that the Chamber always focuses on is how we can connect our business community with different partners inside not only San Marcos, but inside the region. And so part of this strategic plan is to look at the dynamics of Texas State, ACC, and much more, and how we can grow together to make sure that the next 10, 20, 30 years for our community and our region is a success. And those that are looking for an opportunity in the job market can find that opportunity. And so I appreciate Paul Fletcher and his team and the work that they do each and every day. We could not do the work that we do inside the Chamber without the help of Paul and his team at Workforce Solutions Rural Capital. You know, every day is unique and is an adventure now that we're in this world of COVID-19. And it's more important that we look at how we can take that next opportunity to the next level. And Workforce Solutions really has done a great job and has laid out a great plan in their strategic plan to highlight how employers can take their employees to that next level. And if you're not in that, market, how you can go to that market. If you're trying to move up the chain, the ladder effect that they have laid out. And so I encourage you to visit Workforce Solutions Rural Capital to look at their strategic plan, to evaluate their strategic plan, and ask questions about the plan and engage the plan. Because the plan is only as good as the people that are implementing it. It doesn't serve me well to sit on the shelf. It doesn't serve our community well to sit on the shelf. And so we have to work together to build that plan and move it into the right direction so that not only San Marcos, Hays County, but the other counties inside the footprint that Workforce Solutions Rural Capital represents is succeeding over the next 20 to 30 years. And so to Paul and his team, thank you for putting this together. I look forward to working with you and your team as we lay out this plan, not only today, but in future years as the plan comes to life and we continue to get our Central Texas workers back into the job market and moving them up the ladder of success. Thank you.
Another key element of our mission is self-sufficient employment. Achieving this goal starts with building greater career awareness and connections between job seekers and employers. Workforce Solutions works to ensure that training programs for high-demand careers are accessible to job seekers and will meet the needs of employers.
Hi, my name is Becky Garlick. I serve as the Executive Dean for Blaine College's Schulenburg campus. I also serve on Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area Board. Recently, I had an opportunity to serve on the steering committee for strategic planning for Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area. This plan involved broad participation from county leaders and also from stakeholders within each of the counties. It's an exciting plan because it really focuses on not only opportunities within the counties, but it also focuses on barriers that some of the counties are facing. So it's really an opportunity for Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area to work with the counties and to help overcome some of these barriers that they face. I'm really excited because as a community college administrator, we have opportunity to work not only with our ISDs, but also with our local community members so that we can help point them to resources which will be valuable for them as they upskill or as they try to pursue the career that they've always dreamed of. So there's lots and lots of resources that are available through Workforce Solutions Capital Area Board. And through this strategic planning and working with county leaders and others within each county, participants or citizens living in the county will have greater opportunity to access these resources and use these resources to their advantage as they get the career that they've always dreamed of.
The third regional goal includes raising awareness of career opportunities with regional employers and creating connections with prospective workers. Ensuring that regional education and workforce programs are training workers with the right skills. Creating better economic opportunity through career advancement.
Hello, my name is Dwayne Street, and I'm the Chief Equity Officer for the Round Rock Independent School District. And I'm honored to be asked to be part of the official launch of the Rural CAP Strategic Plan. Rural CAP has a special place in my heart, both personally and professionally, because I've had the great experience of working with the project and also the Workforce Development Board. So I'm honored to be a part of this. When I think about my new role, I could not think of a role that is more closely aligned with Rural CAP and its mission. My role is about helping people transform their lives by closing gaps around inequity. And one of the ways to do that is through workforce development. To officially connect using my practice and the practice of Paul Fletcher and the people who report up to him to move the community forward so we can provide talent pipelines and a career for people as opposed to just an episodic experience with work. To provide not only employment, but also case management and mock interviewing skills, all of the things that so many marginalized people need in order to have a career. You know, it has been a wonderful experience knowing Rural CAP, knowing the work that they do, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future. And I would love to be a part of it in any way that Round Rock Independent School District can.
To implement the regional strategy, Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area Board committees will focus and align with the needs of the strategic plan. The Community Matters coalitions are the key to the implementation of the strategic plan. Champions will be selected in each county to come together in the Community Matters Coalition's Leadership Council. The council will plan regional activities to support the work of the coalitions, share resources, fundraise, and track metrics. The Child Care Community Matters Coalition, led by the Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area Child Care Champion, will lead the work of the early learning coalitions in the counties.
My name is Debbie Burkhardt. I live in Blanco County, and for the past 4 years, I've owned a small business here. We have office and retail space, and we absolutely love Blanco County. It's been so beneficial for us, and we've made so many wonderful friends. We have challenges, just as every other county does, I'm sure. We're always looking for good, qualified employees. We need employees in every area, and we also need housing. And all of these challenges are being worked on. We're working through them. We have some wonderful partners out there that are trying to help us get affordable housing so that we have more employees. When you don't have a place to live, it's difficult to work in that community. So that's one of the things that I'm focused on. I'm also focused on training. We look at training sometime as, I can't do that right now. I don't have the time. I don't have the ability. But there are people out there that can help you. One of the things that I always use as an example is one of our dear friends works as a waitress at a restaurant. Beautiful person. She is wonderful at her job. Her high school child needed a job, and so she got him one as waitstaff at the restaurant she works at. he immediately knew that that was not for him. He said, I can't do this work. So she said, that's fine. Find what you want to do. So he immediately went out and started looking, found a welding class that he could take, and he's now enrolled in that. Those are the things that make us great. That's what helps our county. We have a wonderful friend who's also our plumber, excellent plumber, and he's always looking for skilled help. He takes young high school or just out of high school students, and he trains them in the plumbing field, and they get their license. And so these are awesome opportunities for our young people in Blanco County. And I want us to understand that we can be a part of that. We can get out there, we can talk to people, we can work with the high schools, work with our libraries, work with our chambers, work with our mayors and city council, and they're all willing to help. And that's what we need to be aware of, that wherever we go and whatever we do have that help out there. We are getting ready to introduce our new strategic plan for Blanco County. And all of these items on the plan for Blanco County are all intertwined. So when you look at our aging population, which is large in Blanco County, we know that we need to bring in some younger, skilled workers. In doing that, in bringing in new, younger, skilled workers, we also have to have housing for them. And we also have to have childcare. And we also have to have opportunities for them. I think that if we work with all of these and looking at all of these three things together, the childcare, opportunities for training and jobs, and housing, if we work on those three things together, I think we'll be more successful. And that's why this plan is so critical for Blanco County. We need to look forward. We need to move forward. And in moving forward, it's going to take all of us. We have a lot of small businesses in Johnson City, and I have to say that the owners and the employees are absolutely wonderful. I think that they all want to move forward and they all want to move up. So in doing that, we'll have to come together. We'll have to work with the Workforce Commission in finding and attaining the goals needed to make Blanco County the best that it can be. I'm really excited about our new strategic plan, and I really encourage all of you to support Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area in their effort to help employment in all of these counties and to move Blanco forward. We're all in this together. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Cara DiMattina Ryan. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer with Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area. I want to thank everyone today for all of your participation in the information and data we were able to collect to form this strategic plan. It's your participation that made this plan possible, and we know that it's so strong because of the feedback that we received from all of our community stakeholders as we really went through this process. So I do want to start talking a little bit more about the county directions that we're going with this, because throughout this whole process, we did want to make sure that we were creating ideas and strategies that really met the unique needs of our 9 counties. So moving forward, we are going to be building out 9 workforce matters coalitions that will be designed to build out a stronger workforce development ecosystem throughout the region through these really personalized plans. These coalitions will help us to monitor our progress, evaluate data, leverage community resources to address gaps, and ultimately create community-led solutions to workforce issues that will support our job seekers in finding high-growth career opportunities. Thank you again for listening today. We really appreciate all of the support we've received over the past year to get this strategic plan to where it is, and we really look forward to the next steps. We'll be sending out invitations to future discussions about how these will be launched individually, and we hope you'll be able to join us for that for further questions and information. But always feel free to reach out to us directly with any questions, comments, or concerns. All of our partnerships mean so much to us and how we're able to enhance workforce development systems throughout the region. We really look forward to continued partnerships. Thank you so much again.
The Rural Capital Area County plans aim to enhance workforce development, employment, and training in each of our 9 counties. These plans are in addition to the regional plan and better leverage the opportunities and resources that are unique to each county. Priorities in each of the county plans include supporting the launch of the Community Matters Coalition, strengthening and aligning partnerships, and increasing awareness of high-demand careers.
Hello, my name is Scott Staten. I am the operations manager for TD Industries in Austin, a commercial HVAC and plumbing company. And what the strategic plan means to me is the foundation and the coalitions that are being built in our communities to help people find jobs and help people better their lives and grow themselves and their careers in the community of Central Texas. From providing job hunt assistance to childcare for people to be able to go out and interview and go to work on a daily basis. What Workforce Solutions is doing is serving the greater need of the community, and without it, there was a lot of people in our community that would not be able to find work on a consistent basis. The core values that Workforce Solution is implementing is something that is invaluable in this community. What Workforce Solutions has been able to do to help TD Industries is really aligned us with implementing our trades apprenticeship program for HVAC and plumbing. They have allowed us and given us the connections and the resources to align with Round Rock ISD and the Austin Community College folks that are training in the technical education programs. This has allowed us to find qualified candidates to come into our apprenticeship program and helped us get recognition from the Department of Labor and from the local Texas governments that can help support us on our mission. So as a board member, over the next few years serving on the Untapped Populations Committee, I look forward to being able to help the underserved communities find jobs, whether that be homeless populations, disabled veterans, people of color, females who are looking to branch out into traditionally male-dominated careers. We are looking for all kinds of creative ways to solve those issues and help our community find jobs on a permanent basis. So what this strategic plan is going to do, and what I'm really excited about, is creating opportunities in the future for people who are serving our community and making it a better place.
Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area injects more than $20 million annually into the regional childcare system. This system serves more than 5,000 children through our network of nearly 300 childcare providers. The launch and support of early learning coalitions by Workforce Solutions in each county will increase the quality and quantity of childcare across the region. Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area will be introducing each of the county plans during Community Matters Coalition interest meetings. The meetings will be held in each county in the coming months.
Well, hi, I'm Jason Ball, President and CEO of the Round Rock Chamber, and I'm just thrilled to see how this plan came together. I want to congratulate Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area and their whole team and their staff on putting together a document that I think will really serve our needs and guide our community's actions long into the future. I think everyone's aware we've had a real big shift just in the past, say, year and a half of what our primary issues related to talent development have been. If you ask any business, what's one of your blockages to growing and having more success in your community, workforce comes up. And that's not unique to just the greater Austin area, but that's nationwide. Finding the right talent with the right skills has just become a very difficult thing to do. And so before we got to the coronavirus pandemic, of course, we were having record low unemployment. Very difficult to find people to interview for jobs, and I think sometimes even more difficult to find the right person with the right skills for the job. And then we hit the coronavirus pandemic and the economic slowdown, and we saw that transition into some industries were really negatively impacted, had to have some rounds of layoffs. And in those areas, it became easier to find talent. And of course, we had a lot of displaced people that had economic uncertainty from having been between jobs because of that, by no fault of their own. At the same time, we had other industries having record years of growth, still having record needs for talented and skilled workforce. And their pool of employees didn't grow all that much, even though the broader economy had some slowdown issues. And now we're back to a time where we've got vaccines rolling out. People are looking to what the world will look like past the pandemic phase, and we're going to go back to record low unemployment. I think we're still in a technical phase of being in a record low unemployment. So what's that mean for Round Rock and for the greater Austin metro? Well, very pleased to see the employer-driven approach that's been adopted by Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area. That's been our philosophy. Our Talent Development Council is renewing our efforts to go out and speak with employers to find shared needs across industries for skill types or job types that we can begin to collaborate with Workforce Solutions and, of course, our secondary and post-secondary education partners to help collaborate to fill training gaps if and where that they exist. Also thrilled that it's such I think, a clearly collaborative approach that Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area has taken. We're thrilled to have them as part of our Talent Development Council. They always have been, and they've been very engaged members in that. And our communication with them on those needs and what we're hearing from the businesses in Round Rock is ongoing continuously. They do a great job with that, and we're so pleased to have them as part of our efforts, and we're thrilled to be part of theirs. I think on the back end too, what the pandemic and economic slowdown really demonstrated was just the difficulty in maybe other or non-traditional areas that had workforce impacts that maybe hadn't been considered as much prior to that. By that, I mean, we saw what the impact of childcare and early childhood development facilities did in terms of constricting people's ability to be engaged with work. Even if they were fully working from home remotely, that meant that they had kids in the home, and it was disruptive at the best. But I think for folks that didn't have the luxury of being able to work remotely, it was a complete blockage to them being able to engage in the workforce. And we saw many people kind of go on pause with paying jobs, not because they had a work slowdown, but because they had to take care of family members. And so that's something that really got highlighted in it. I think the real question for chambers, economic development agencies, and other workforce development programs is how do we develop a childcare and early childhood engagement and education system that maybe is a little bit more robust for situations like these, that doesn't lose its accessibility. I know that's a big ask, but I'm glad to see it featured so prominently in the plan. Likewise, with things we already knew we were dealing with, transportation. Austin metro area, everyone talks about, before the pandemic in particular, how I think difficult transportation networks have become. That's going to continue to surface as an issue. Right now, we are at the epicenter of where the entire nation, and I think sometimes the world, wants to have a business presence. And that's the best possible issue to have, because we're going to see this economy grow and take off, especially when coronavirus is totally gone and we are fully implementing this plan. But that means that we're really going to have to wrestle with transportation networks. And that's going to require some really smart investments, either through public transportation investments or expanded public-private partnerships to get additional highways and roadways built, or even fun things like Elon Musk's tunnels in this area, since he's invested in this area so much. There's a lot of opportunity there, but we're really going to have to get our arms around it quickly if we want to see this pace of growth continue, because we know businesses cannot come to areas if they can't get their goods and products and services in and out of the area with the ease that they need. And that, of course, is a workforce issue too. So again, the Round Rock Chamber is very pleased to see what the broad brush strokes are in this plan. We've been so honored to be engaged in helping development and inform what our view of the needs are, and look forward to working towards implementation with Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area and their team as we move forward into what will be an exciting time in this economy. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for being here today for the rollout of this important strategic workforce plan. Your participation is critical in the success of this plan. Stay tuned. Coming up, we'll be having a panel discussion to talk about the implementation of our strategic plan in each of the 9 counties. Our session, as we progress through this, we're going to answer some questions, but be thinking about how, if you're on the call today, that you can participate with us in these local workforce coalitions. The input from each of you in all of our areas is critical to making sure we get the right solutions for the right issues to help make this plan a success. So I want to thank you for your input today, and I look forward to your continued input as we move forward. And I'll start off with our first question, and I'm going to address that first question to our board chair, Frank Leonardis. So Frank, why did the Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area Board of Directors undertake the development of a regional plan and 9 individual county plans?
Well, we thought it was important to document the employer needs in each of our 9 counties, along with the skill sets of the labor force for each of those counties. That allowed us the opportunity to address gaps between the skills that are needed and the skills that are available. So then we can take that area by area and work to address those gaps through various means, such as education and training, and the removal of barriers such as transportation, childcare, workforce housing, healthcare, and broadband internet.
Thanks, Frank. Our next question, I'm going to ask this to our Chief Operations Officer, Diane. Diane, what role does the Texas Workforce Commission play in our workforce plan?
Sure, thanks, Paul. So Texas Workforce Commission is the primary funding source for about 90% of the workforce funding and the childcare funding that comes through Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area. They provide that funding for mostly federal resources, such as the Department of Labor, the Department of Agriculture, and the Federal Department of Health and Human Services.
Thanks, Diane. And then our next question asks, what are the, and I'm going to address this question to Dr. Kara Ryan, what are the objectives of the regional and county strategies?
So our main objectives are really to start focusing on how we can build out that workforce ecosystem for all 9 of our counties and really start addressing. And throughout our plan, we really keyed in on 6 different pieces that affect all of our 9 counties to different degrees. And that's how workforce housing, it's internet access, it's childcare, transportation, and obviously access to training, how we're able to get access to higher education infrastructure and small business and entrepreneurship ecosystems. How can we help our small businesses grow? So as we go about looking at these ecosystems and how we can develop out these systems that will help us get job seekers into more formalized training, we'll be able to increase the amount of people going into training and getting them entered into career pathways. Workforce development is really it's come up throughout all of our discussions. It's a team sport. All of us need to really work together to make workforce and higher wage opportunities available to all of our residents.
Thank you, Kara. Frank, this next question would be for you. So from the board's perspective, you're the board chair, what does success look like for the plan's rollout and what should Central Texans expect?
I think what we'll see is engaged coalitions with people working together to mediate the gaps in the skill set and working on some other bigger picture items like the housing and transportation issues, and engaging resources that are available in each of our communities that can help to impact those areas.
Thanks, Frank. Diane, next question would be for you. How will success of this plan be measured?
So I think ultimately success would be the ability to see a properly skilled workforce that can be the talent supply chain for all of the different employers in each of the counties in our region. We want our employers to have the skill set that they need to be able to supply and grow their enterprises. But in the meantime, we're also going to be measuring some interim success measures, such as forming the coalitions, identifying ways that we can work on the gaps in the community, and being able to measure out the progress that's made during this time frame.
Thanks, Diane. Okay, Kara, next question's for you. Who will help Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area in the rollout and the execution of the plan?
Everyone. I hope everyone will be involved in all that we're doing. We need all of our community stakeholders in order to be effective. We need education representatives, economic development representatives. We need our local government employers. We need nonprofits who are adding extra supports to our job seekers. If we time things correctly and leverage all our resources at the same time, we'll be more effective in getting the training access to everyone. So please all come and join and be prepared to give.
So Kara, a follow-on question to that is, how will those community matter coalitions be formed?
That's an excellent question. And we are working with champions in each of our counties to really start forming out how we can work with the current systems that are already in place so that we're not working against the system. We want to find where our resources can be leveraged and maximize that, as well as bring people together to identify where even those gaps are so that we can start looking at how to enhance and fill those gaps. So there's quite a bit going on. And if you have any questions, because we do have 9 variations of this going on, please reach out and we'll figure out the right place for you or your community partner to fit.
And then Kara, one more follow-on question. You may have already answered it, but
sure.
Who will lead the Community Matters coalitions?
It's community led. And with that in mind, we will have chairs and champions who will help us to organize the coalition so that we are truly making it as community-led as possible. We will always be a backbone and ensuring that the administrative work also is moving along. But ultimately, it's community led. We're going to need everyone to really buy in, participate, and take on their part in helping us move this along. Like I said, like we kind of said earlier, it's a team sport. We're not going to be effective if we don't get the buy-in and participation from all of our community members.
Thanks, Kara. So Diane, we're back to you. So what's different about the Community Matters coalitions, and how do we make sure we address inclusivity as we roll that out?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. The coalitions are different in the sense that they're intended to tackle some really big infrastructure issues that are a little bit bigger than any one particular organization or agency in the counties. So it may not really be within just the scope of workforce to tackle those issues, but we really acknowledge that those barriers are preventing the talent supply chain that employers need to be able to fill their needs as employers. But the thing about diversity and inclusivity, I mean, it was an issue prior to COVID, but really kind of looking at how quickly everybody pivoted during the pandemic to being able to do things virtually, doing things online, such as this kind of presentation. It really kind of helped to identify the gap between where those issues are in a community and what's holding a community back, and what's holding certain populations within those communities back versus those that have the ability to access quickly and utilize the technology that's available. So I think one of the things that's really great about these coalitions is that although we're addressing big infrastructure issues, we're doing it in a way that's going to build equity within each of the counties. We're going to be able to provide more consistent access. We're going to be able to provide more consistent opportunities for training and skill development and resource development and support for families. So I think that's one of the main ways why the Community Matters Coalition is a little bit different from other work.
Thanks, Diane. So Kara, what do you think some of the challenges will be that you expect as part of the rollout?
That's an excellent question. I'm not expecting too many challenges, in all honesty, and that might be surprising, but in all of our counties, we've already really started really great conversations about how we can get the ball rolling. And in each of our counties, we are taking steps, and I am so proud to work with all of our stakeholders. Everyone is so motivated to make things happen and to answer the challenges that we're all facing right now. So I don't really, the biggest challenge that we'll face is realistically, we have to go slow in order to move fast. It's like a slingshot almost. We have so much prep work that we'll have to go into ensuring that we're all on the same page in how we answer some of these questions, that once we get there and let go and have everyone really participate, all of a sudden we're going to see an explosion of resources in our communities. So, and I'm really excited for that point.
I think it's interesting because we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but the idea that there's so much good work that's already happening in the counties and you can leverage that work and really amplify the impact of that. And I think that's one of the things that these coalitions are here to do. So I'm glad to hear you say that.
Yeah.
And I think that brings to mind a question for me that it's a couple of people had asked as we were going through this process is what's the difference between our workforce board members who come from all 9 counties around our area and then these coalitions that we're trying to build. And for me, I think the difference is we have board members from each area and they're certainly welcome to participate. We invite their participation on that, but we wanted to get a broader swath of the entire community in each area and make sure we had representation from all of the different challenges and barriers that might be out there to prevent workforce from expanding the way we want, like transportation, like healthcare, like housing. So we're trying to be inclusive and bring all those groups in, not to diminish the role of the workforce board by any means, but really to enhance it and to make sure we're getting a good big picture look at everything that we need to do. Kara, so the next one. So given the unexpected impact the coronavirus pandemic has already had on our communities, can this plan that we're rolling out today adjust to rapid changes within our economy and its workforce needs?
So COVID has impacted us in a really unique way. Obviously, COVID has created so many different challenges throughout our communities that were addressed throughout the video or throughout our discussions earlier and in the presentations. With that in mind, it's also spurred so much energy among our stakeholders to find solutions. Right now, we are actually, I think we're all looking to support those job seekers who did lose their opportunities because of the circumstances, that everyone is looking to be a part of the solution and help us all find our way forward. So I'm really excited about what we're forming. I think one of our other difficulties will be internet access. And that's one of the issues that we've actually addressed in the plan for our job seekers, but also for us in getting together. We are still working in a hybrid kind of situation or purely virtual, depending on what's available. But we know even in our rural counties, how important it is for us to talk to some of our stakeholders in person, because virtual access or internet access is limited. So that is going to be one of our challenges, but as the vaccine continues to roll out, I have high hopes that we'll all be in person and seeing each other very soon and just keep it on moving forward.
You know, I think one of the things we learned early on during COVID, one of the challenges was how do we continue to do business and work with everyone we need to work with, while at the same time staying separate and apart and safe. And that led us to the incorporation of technology like we're using today to hold a meeting. And I don't think that we would have ever thought about rolling out a plan, whether it's a workforce plan or anything else, through the use of video and a Zoom call and maybe Facebook Live or however we're doing this today. But the use of that technology and the impact of that technology on how we do business, I think, has been a drastic shift for our industry and for a lot of the community-based organizations. It enables us to work with our peers from not only in other parts of the state, but other parts of the country, other parts of the world. We can get a lot of smart people that want to engage with us on many different issues, just over a phone and a video call. It's been a dramatic difference for us. I think it really has broadened our horizons in a lot of ways. You can't ever replace face-to-face communication, but the use of these technology tools have really helped us in our ability to do business. So Frank, I'll ask the next question for you. So what do you see? You're a private employer in addition to your highly paid job as the board chair for the rural capital area. What are the benefits of the plan for employers in the rural capital area?
Well, I think being that the plan has mostly been directed at being employer focused, the ultimate benefit for us will be to have the properly skilled talent pool available to the employers in our area to allow them to continue to grow and thrive. The low unemployment rate before the pandemic was certainly restricting businesses from being able to grow, I think, in the area at the rate they'd like to. And putting together a plan like this to really address those things, I think is a great thing.
Thank you. So Diane, kind of the opposite side of that question. What are the benefits of the plan for job seekers in the rural capital area?
I actually think Frank kind of got the answer to that question spot on. I think the benefit to the plan for job seekers is that they're going to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that employers have in their community. They're going to be able to have the skill progression and career advancement opportunities to be able to earn a family supporting wage without having to go outside of their county. And that's going to be huge because it's very impactful to the work of economic development in the county, and having those job seekers be able to be employed and remain in the county in which they reside is also going to be very important for the work that we're doing to stabilize and grow different occupations.
Thanks, Diane. So I've got another couple of questions here, Diane, that I'm going to address to you. And these are both about something that not everyone knows the Workforce Board is engaged in, but a very high portion of the funding that the Workforce Board gets comes to help support the childcare industry through subsidized childcare or with supports for childcare providers. So tell me, how does the plan address the rising need for high quality childcare for working families?
I think that's a great statement that you have and a great question. The thing about early care and education is that this is critical in a community for a couple of different ways. First, it supports the family in being able to allow the family to achieve high employment and be able to afford them the opportunity to do the things that they need in order to improve their skills and again get on that career pathway or advance their career. So I think it's kind of integral as one of those backbone structures that's needed for economic development, for community advancement. But I think the other thing that's really important and that we're going to see through this plan that's going to be helpful for early care and education is it's actually kind of a two-pronged approach. The first thing to point out about this is when there is high quality early care and education, you are also creating the workforce of the future because you're allowing an opportunity for those children to be able to have access to the curriculum, the social and emotional skills, the development and support for their brain that they need to be able to enter into elementary school ready to be successful by the time they reach third grade. But at the same time, when you teach those skills early on for those kiddos, you're ingraining in them the social and emotional behavior that you need to be successful and have the soft skills that are needed as adults. So I think that's one key thing that's very important to it. The other benefit of engaging in this planning process and being able to talk about early care and education in the community is that it will help us to build the early care and education industry. It will help us to be able to support the professional development and wage advancement of those teachers that are currently in childcare settings that really need to have that support, advancement, and professional development to provide what's necessary for those children.
Thanks, Diane. And how does this plan help benefit those childcare providers?
I think, ultimately it's going to help childcare providers because we are doing so much work right now in supporting childcare as an industry through business accelerator training, being able to provide more support and encouragement for the background administrative processes that we know all early care and education providers have to complete. That as we go through this planning process through the Workforce Matters and Early Care and Education coalitions, we're really going to be able to identify the needs of that industry. We're going to be able to work together to provide solutions for that needs and be able to gain some efficiency through that coordination and collaboration.
Thank you. So Kara, can you give us kind of an insight to what the current labor market data looks like for our major local industries?
And it's hard to, we didn't pull up data specifically for this meeting, but we can talk a lot about the industries that have been really affected, both positively and negatively throughout COVID and the pandemic in general. We've seen construction and skilled trades. They've pretty much maintained, and we haven't really seen too much of a slowdown in their seeking out of job seekers. If anything, we've had trouble being able to get education out to help them fill those positions right now. And luckily, because of the vaccine, we should be opening up some of those training opportunities again very soon. We know manufacturing is about to come back online. They never stopped recruiting in general, but we know that Tesla is going to start recruiting very soon. We know that there's other opportunities growing very quickly in the rural capital area, and we are going to need far more manufacturing job seekers to want to choose this industry. IT is exploding, and we need far more people to come into these areas. Healthcare obviously first has been dramatically impacted, and we need to better explore how we can support our job seekers going into those industries as well and logistics. How can there's no forgetting about Amazon and all of the opportunities that they're creating throughout the Central Texas region, and more. There's some other companies that are also being added that are adding jobs in logistics that we're going to see our unemployment numbers very quickly decrease, and we're going to go back to, as Jason Ball talked about it earlier, we're going to see those numbers we're going to address those issues very quickly again, which is why we want these coalitions in place as soon as possible so that we can start looking at these issues as a whole to make sure that we're placing job seekers where they're most needed and where they can find opportunities that will give them those family sustaining wages.
So Carrie, do you see any how will those industries benefit from this plan?
These industries will benefit greatly because we will have more partners at the table coordinating efforts simultaneously to streamline the answers to a lot of these needs. So we'll be able to coordinate the training. We'll be able to coordinate childcare support and any other job seeker support that they might need, and place the training more locally so that we can actually facilitate that going right into a local employer. And as we heard some of our other, Debbie in particular talked about it, and so did Donna about workforce housing and how if we're looking at those issues as a whole, then we can look at more entry-level job seekers finding opportunities in this area, which would then put them on that career pathway, especially in logistics and manufacturing, skilled trades. So there's a lot that we can do, and it will help us answer these needs much quicker.
Thanks, Kara. So Diane, one more question for you. How does this plan address the upskilling needs of our workforce?
So I think one of the benefits of being able to have these Workforce Matters coalitions and really engage with each of our county stakeholders in our counties a little bit closer is that we're going to be able to identify skills gaps a lot more succinctly and a lot more locally for what will be needed in individual communities than what we've been able to do in the past. And I think once we identify those skills gaps, we're going to be able to work together as a community and as a coalition to see what training resources are already in the areas, identify funding, resources, equipment, tools, space that could be utilized to help support that training, and then work with all of our different partners to identify who the appropriate resource would be to come in and deliver that training. And I think the benefit of that is that we're not only going to be talking to community organizations, but we're really looking to engage employers and helping to identify what those skills gaps are, so that when we correct those skills gaps through training, that we will be providing an actual local correction that will meet the needs of employers in that community.
You know, and I love that you brought that up, because we've talked about our economic development partners being such important stakeholders, and also in support with identifying those gaps. It's also our incoming employers who we know have continued to look at the Central Texas area and are still interested in moving here. It's so important for us to continue those conversations and be ready with training and preparing ahead of time as those employers come on board to fill those jobs as quickly as possible. So I just to add on to Diane's point, why we're all working together so well in order to meet some of these gaps.
You know, a year ago, we talked about the fact that Texas was growing exponentially. It's still growing exponentially. And I don't know if the data still holds true, but at the time, you know, about a year ago, I looked at some data that said about 1,000 people a day were arriving in the state of Texas. About 500 of those were moving here from somewhere else, and another 500 were born. And that's every day. And that really brought home the significance to me. We have to be prepared to grow our own and provide opportunities and the right educational programs to allow our kids to grow up and be able to find good jobs in the areas that they live in if we want our communities to stay vibrant and growing. At the same time, we're welcoming in people from outside of Texas, welcoming them to our area, bringing their skills into our labor force and enhancing those skills where needed. Frank, what are you most excited about as we roll out this plan, both as board chair and as a private employer?
Well, one thing that's been most exciting to me is to see us bring together all the different organizations in the communities, education, economic development, chambers of commerce, the business leaders, community-based organizations, all bringing them together to engage in the discussions about workforce development. So I think bringing everybody together into it has got tremendous benefit for all of our communities. and making sure that businesses have the talent that is necessary to be able to continue to thrive. We've been seeing tremendous economic growth in Texas, and I think we expect to see that going forward. And I think this plan is setting the path to be able to continue that.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question, Paul?
Sure.
What is it that you're most looking forward to?
I think being able to have it published and say we have completed the plan, and now the real work starts. The exciting part for me is, and here lately, has been being able to get back out and go see a lot of the people that we've been looking at on video and talking to on the phone, and be able to sit down with them in person and have some discussions. I think it really helps people better engage when we get together in person. You see the excitement levels coming from employers that need to hire people, from educators that are eager to provide some of that workforce training that we need, and bringing some new people into the discussions that we haven't talked to before in this area, like people talking about housing, and really trying to broaden that discussion and really look at some things that we as a workforce board, we can't strictly address, but we can work to bring the right people into the room that can help address those things. And I think when we all start working together on these issues, we get much closer to some kind of a solution to the problem than if we all stay in our silos and don't have the ability to get out and interact with each other. Thanks, Ann.
No problem.
I think we may have some questions in the Q&A or in chat, and I don't know if somebody can bring those up for us.
Sure.
Chat or that's fine. So there was a question there, and I was going to come back around to that at the end, but we'll do that now. If you were interested in joining one of the Community Matters coalitions in your county,
Do you want me to do it?
Please email communications@ruralcapital.net, and our coordinators will reach out to you to provide information on upcoming meetings. Those meetings should be happening in each county, hopefully during April and early May. We hope to have all of them done by no later than the end of May, and get those coalitions really working. A question came in, says, what additional educational supports like literacy needs, computer training, interviewing skills, etc., are being considered to support families in pursuing educational and training opportunities that may need extra assistance? I'll try to answer that one from a broad perspective. So within our workforce programs, we have resources to help support students that are in training to some degree, not enough resources there to support that for everyone. And then we also can help students utilize other resources like Pell Grants and things like that to work out a funding scenario to help cover the costs of not only the training, but all the things that need to go along with the training to help them get through and be successful. Diane, you want to add anything to that?
No, I think that's a great answer. I think also there was a question that came up earlier that talked about needing to interest in getting GED or high school equivalency, and I think that's a great statement that that is absolutely one of the things that we're here to help with. And through these coalitions, we're looking to be able to bridge resources so that we know that there's great work that's happening in the community, but we want to make sure that that work is kind of leveraged and integrated and provided to the community in a way that any citizen who needs that information is going to be able to get that information. And it has to do with all of the other things that you addressed as well.
Thanks, Diane. We have a question here that's very broad-based. Hopefully we didn't bite off more than we could chew. But this question is talking about improving transportation options between the Austin area and the San Antonio area, specifically from Buda, Kyle, San Marcos, into New Braunfels, Schertz, San Antonio, etc. We need transportation options to be seamless and not just jointed between the two regions. Well, completely agree. And I think that's one of the things we certainly want to work on. I've heard that expressed from almost universally from everyone. We can't continue to grow and have 35 be as non-moving as it is at times. It's crucial, especially to things like our logistics industry that is just, is really focused on getting things up and down that corridor, and then people being able to get to work using that corridor as well to get to work. There's a lot of people going back and forth in that region, and we that definitely has to be part of things that we look at. Here's a question about broadband. That in Wimberley, Hayes County, broadband or high-speed internet is not available for all homes within the city. How will providers be encouraged to provide this service? So we're working to bring broadband providers into the discussion in each of our local workforce coalitions to talk about what their issues are, what their limitations are, and I know there has been some work done in several counties to really study where the limited broadband areas are, and to try to start looking at potential solutions for those things. We want to try to help make that be as inclusive as possible. I know the legislature is in session right now, and one of the things they're working on is a statewide internet plan. Texas is one of the few states that does not have an internet plan. So we are hoping that there will be some assistance coming out of that as well. Diane, I'll let you answer the one on diversity if you don't mind.
Sure. So the question says, in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion, what steps will be, could you scroll back down a little bit? Sorry. Okay. In terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion, what steps will be taken by the committee to ensure diversity is community-led, the diversity in community-led coalitions, and that is inclusive of BIPOC-led community-based organizations? I think this is a fantastic question. And it kind of gets to the point of what we've realized has happened with COVID and the pivoting of communities to looking at things online and being able to do business online, and really identifying those areas of the community that have the ability to access those resources and those that don't. So, as we're building out these community coalitions, I would encourage anybody who is interested to really reach out to us and let us know that you're interested. And then I think what we've also done is try to be very strategic and be very open and engaging as we're reaching out to different community organizations and partners to identify who would be appropriate and who would be interested to participate in the coalition. So I know that we've had some great conversations with a couple of different community-based organizations in Hayes County and Caldwell County. And we're also looking at some partnerships with some organizations in Bastrop County, but we're definitely open for any suggestions or any interest. And I think that's where we would rely on the community also to let us know when we've gotten it right and when we need to do a better job.
Thanks, Diane. Another question came in about where should new business owners start in relation to working with the overall strategic plan? A separate question, how is Workforce Solutions Childcare working with the community to allow relative providers to provide care through them temporarily until CCS is able to assist with licensed providers? That process has such a long wait list. How can students and employees gain easier access to assistance with this, since so many are needing care in home right now? Diane, you're our child care expert. What do you think?
Rosemary, that is a great question. I think we've had some good conversations about that. We do acknowledge that there is a strong need for quality early care and education in the communities. And until families are able to access that need through a licensed and regulated provider, many families are using relative care to be able to support the early care and education needs so that the parent would be able to go out and be employed or go to school. And so we do have a process that relative providers would be able to go through in order to be served through Child Care Solutions. One of the things is that a relative provider does need to be listed through the Department of Family and Protective Services Child Care Regulation website. So there's a little bit of a background check process. But I think the key thing to know about that is if there is a family that is in need or that is interested in engaging in relative care, that they should reach out to us. And then I think the second part of that question is, for those relative providers that are currently providing care, I want to make sure that those relative providers also understand that we do have resources available that would help build that work that you're doing right now from just caring for a family member or a relative. We can help to support you to build that into an actual business through some entrepreneurial work. And so through some other dollars that we have and some professional development, communication, and things like that. So, definitely, I understand that there's a need for that. And I think that's a great way to build the industry is through looking at those smaller individuals that are currently providing services and help to stabilize them and support them so that they can grow into a larger business.
Thanks, Diane. Yeah. Another question is, how will the strategic plan define self-sufficiency wages using federal poverty level guides, livable wage, or other local definition? So I know for years we've used self-sufficiency wage to determine which training occupations we would spend workforce board resources on paying to send people to training for. And we have usually set that at around, in the past, it's been set at $18 an hour. For the plan, I assume that that self-sufficiency wage would be around $18 an hour as well. Diane, unless you had some different thoughts about that.
I think that's one of the things where we need to look at what's happening in each individual county, as well as look at what's happening across the whole 9-county region as a whole. Although we do have kind of a set methodology algorithm that we use to figure out what would be appropriate for the whole 9-county region. When you really look at self-sufficiency, I think, it can be defined so many different ways. It can be defined as family supporting wage. It can be defined as what you can afford to live on. But it really varies based on the different circumstances of the community. And I think that's one of the things that we would have our Community Matters or Workforce Matters coalitions look at if that's something that's important to that community.
That's a good point, because it could be a very different point of information from Williamson County, where Round Rock is, to say Llano County or Fayette County that are further removed from a more urban area. Thanks, Diane. So here's a follow-up question on transportation. Has there been planning and or development to address access to the Tesla plant, which is right off of 130 there in Austin? Current transportation stops well short of the site. There are current challenges in construction workers to access, but how will access be made once the factory is opening? That's a great question. We'd love to follow up on that. That would be one of those things that I would like to consult with our peers from capital area and talk about things specific to the Austin, Travis County area. As those decisions are made, really within those confines, and we would work with them to help understand what that is and let them know about our concern with how things may be going and how we want to be able to interact with them and how they should be wanting to interact with us.
If it helps also, we do participate on the Capital Metro plan. So we sit on the committee that helps inform some of how we will all work together throughout the region on building out transportation solutions. And what we do as an organization is discuss how we can share data and help see how we can help our communities work together on these solutions. Because realistically, we also have to look at there are a lot of different factors that go into all of this. Travis County, obviously Tesla is in Travis County, and part of this is that we needed to connect to Bastrop and Caldwell and Williamson. So as we move forward, we'll be looking more, and we'll be contributing more data about our populations and to these committees and helping to look at solutions as we move forward. And that's one of the high points of our coalitions, is to work together with our partners, share data, and make sure that we're looking at all of these factors as we move forward.
Okay, thank you, Kara. A good addition. We have reached the point in our agenda where we would open this up to further questions from the audience. If anybody has any questions and they'd like to unmute and ask a question, we would be happy to entertain those questions.
So I'm not entirely certain that people can unmute.
Okay.
At this point, what we might do is have people continue to put questions through the Q&A.
Okay.
For a few minutes, but it seems like we've answered the majority of those questions. I know also that our Brian, our chief storyteller, has put the communications email address out, I believe, through chat and through Q&A. So I think even once this event has ended, we will still be happy to answer some questions that come through and be able to continue to get the information out that's coming through. If anybody would like to ask a question and you're able to raise your hand, I know that we can individually go through and unmute you. So we could also wait for a moment for that as well.
While that's happening, Frank, would you like to just say anything in closing?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Going through this process, it's been really exciting to bring so many people and organizations in each of our 9 counties together to engage in the development of this plan. Since I've joined the board, this is really the first effort that I've ever seen to really bring together people to make a difference in not only the workforce of our communities, but being able to bring, good jobs to the people seeking employment. So it's been a wonderful process so far. Looking forward to the rollout and the implementation of the action part of the plan. And as Kara said earlier a little bit, is we really need everybody's input, and we would love for you to engage when we're in your community and help us to make this a success. So thank you all for your participation today.
Thank you, Frank. Kira, how about you?
I wasn't prepared for closing thoughts. Just that I really look forward to working with everyone. This plan has really been about engaging everyone, and there will be so many follow-up conversations. Please reach out if you do have any questions or thoughts, concerns, anything. That's how we move forward.
Thank you, Kira. Diane?
I have so many thoughts. But I think really just what I want to say is what I've noticed in the past few years is I've seen so much momentum around the support and the expansion and improvement of quality early care and education, not just in our 9-county area, but across the state, that I really look forward to being able to coordinate with employers and communicate with employers and really be able to see how this expansion and this support into the improvement of the quality of that type of critical economic support for a community is going to be beneficial, and what we can do to ensure that employers are getting that kind of infrastructure built up so that we can provide them with the skilled workforce that they need. So I'm super excited about this. I'm also excited about being able to look at all the different work that's happening in the 9 counties and bring that together so that we can amplify that as a whole and really be able to bring awareness to what's already happening and what we can do to build on that.
Thanks, Diane. I will close just want to say again, thank you to all of our partners, all of our stakeholders. We had the opportunity to really work on these issues with a lot of our educational providers, our school districts, the community colleges, Austin Community College, Blinn Community College, Central Texas College, Temple College, Texas State Technical College. I think we talked to people at each of those institutions. They were all excited about getting on board with some of the things we're talking about doing. And as potential solutions arise out of these coalitions, we'll be working with our training providers to determine how do we best roll out that kind of upskilling that's needed. Ideally, we're able to provide that upskilling close to home for people so that they're not having to travel far, so that they can still work, take care of their kids, and be able to improve their skill levels, do all that at the same time. It's really exciting. I think this, to me, this is a definition of a win-win situation, because we're going to help people get better jobs. We're going to help employers find more highly skilled, better employees, and that bodes nothing but well for our economy and for our communities. So I want to thank everyone for joining us here today. I appreciate your time. This has been very enjoyable for me and very informative. I hope you feel the same, and look forward to talking more on this in the future. Thank you.